Everyone was looking out the large observation windows as the commander said those words, and all we saw were spots flash by, then blackness for a second. Before we saw spots flash by again, and then we could see the spots were actually stars as it looked like we were slowing down. Sire, we have reached the Guardian solar systems and will be in orbit around Arcadia in 5 minutes. Thank you, Commander. Please put us in orbit near the space station and give us a good look at it. Yes, sire. Approaching the Arcadia Intergalactic Space Station now. You could see a silhouette of the space station as only minimal lighting was on. Good morning, Riker. How are things here this morning? Good morning, sire, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is great here, sire, and all is in order for your wedding. Please let me know when you will be transporting to the wedding location, and I will meet you there. Excellent, Riker. Thank you. Could you light up the entire exterior of the space station for our guests, please? Well, for all of us, I should say, as other than in photos, none of us have seen it. Of course, sire, Riker replied, and the space station quickly lit up in all its glory, eliciting many wows and oh my's. I quickly explained to everyone who Riker is, and that our space station was just recently completed, and so it wasn't in use yet. It wasn't as if we were going to have visitors anytime soon anyway. Delilah quips, other than mother, Riker, how much longer until sunrise in Guardian City? Sunrise will be in 1 hour and 58 minutes, sire. Okay, everyone. We got just under 2 hours to get ready and transport to the wedding location. Shall we go get dressed? The men's group will transfer down as soon as we are ready. Sam, I'll let you know when we do, and the ladies group can transport down as soon as you are ready. Sam, let me know before you do, please. I will, love, Sam replies as I get a quick kiss from each of my girls, as does Dean. We kid Mark about coming stag and not having anyone to kiss. Then a couple of security girls pop in and give him a quick kiss on each cheek, smile, and then pop out. I had moved my GFAU to a guest suite along with Dean and Mark's suits, and we were dressed and ready to go in 30 minutes. I did notice 2 additions on my GFAU jacket, and while the one is identifiable as pilot wings, the other is a medal with a crimson ribbon with a vertical black stripe just inside each of the outer edges of the ribbon, and a circular gold FAC hanging from it. Mark, being ex-military, tells me they look very good, and my uniform doesn't look barren anymore, ha ha ha. I want to know what they are for, so who do I call? Sam, of course. Sam, I see 2 military decorations on my GFAU jacket. I believe one is a Guardian version of pilot wings, but I have no idea what the medal with the crimson and black ribbon and gold FAC is for. Please tell me that you know what they are about? Ah yes, I had them put on your GFAU, and both will be on your other uniforms when required as well. You are correct that the one is pilot wings, as you are certified to and have flown FACs. The other with the gold FAC is a battle medal that shows you have led the FAC in battle. The FAC would be a different medal if you were part of the battle but had not led it. Okay, I had no idea. Thanks for having them put on for me. You are welcome, love. I give Dean the 4 boxes with the wedding bands, showing one to both Mark and Dean, telling Dean he better not lose them. Ha 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 ha. We figured the girls would be a while, but I asked if Dean and Mark if they wanted to go down now anyways, and look around, and they said they did. I let Chef and Cookie know we were going, and they informed me they were ready with the food and drinks whenever they were needed. I let Sam know that we were leaving, then contacted Riker and asked him to transport the 3 of us down to the wedding location and to meet us there. Even though it was still dark out, the park lighting was on, though at a slightly higher intensity than it would normally be, so we could see quite clearly. The park looked fantastic. There was a small area to the side that had tables to hold the food and drinks when they were transported down. Riker walked over to us, and I introduced him to Dean and Mark, and they hesitated to try shaking hands until Riker laughed and held his hand out to them. He said he was going to be in his body for this occasion. I told him the park looked great and thanked him for getting things set up. He said that the flowers would open with the first touch of the sun, and the park would look even more beautiful than it does now. Mark asked what the big building across the street was, and I told him that it was the Hall of Justice and would be of the same significance as the Supreme Court building in the U.S. I faced the Hall of Justice as I said that this park was the on-the-point separating Guardian Bay, pointing to my right, and Arcadia Bay, pointing to my left. I told them that the area in front of us was the city center area and was 8 blocks wide by 10 blocks deep, with each block being 200 meters long. I took them to each side of the park and pointed out the beach and bay areas and the housing and other buildings in each area. I also explained that the buildings were limited in height beginning at the beachfront, then for 3 blocks back, the height limit decreasing with each block. This way, the buildings on the second and third blocks could be built higher and wouldn't have their ocean and beach views completely blocked. Sam contacts me saying they are ready and for Riker to transport Marcia, Karen, and Gran now, then they will transport down as soon as the sun starts to rise. The 3 ladies arrive, and Gran takes Mark's arm as he and Dean show them around the park. Riker said that the sun should be coming up soon, and we might want to get into our places. We were just in time as the sun peaked above the horizon and the park lights started to dim. The sun was about halfway visible on the horizon when Sam, Dalila, 2, 2, 2, 3, and Sarah arrived, and oh my lord, did they look stunning! Their wedding dresses were matching, 2-piece dresses made of see-through white silk with strategically placed opaque areas. The dress had an off-the-shoulder midriff-bearing crop top with short sleeves and plunging V-neck, in a mermaid-style, low-waist, floor-length skirt that hugged their bodies to mid-thigh, with a seductively high side slit. There was a translucent pattern that looked like low-profile dancing flames, bunched together that rise 15 centimeters from the hemline, matching in color with each lady's 5 centimeters low heel, open toe, strappy wedding sandals. They looked simply beautiful. Riker got the ball rolling, welcoming everyone to Guardian City for the first wedding in Guardian City, Arcadia, and the Guardian solar systems in many centimillennia. The wedding of Didius Sanderson, Guardian Prime of Arcadia and the Guardian solar systems, first of the first and Duke of Houses Anderson on Elven, to Samantha first, 2 first, 2, 3 first, and third Princess Zanderson of Elven. He welcomed the witnesses and guests there with us in person, as well as those that were watching back on Earth. I was told to keep it short, so I will now turn it over to our ruler, Guardian Prime, who I have been told has a few words to say. I thank everyone for coming and for tuning in back on Earth as I turn to my girls and say, Sam, 2, 2, 2, 3, Dalila, no one can say what the future holds in store. However, when I look to the future, I don't see it without each of you there with me. I feel like fate has brought us together, and I am not going to let go. I can't promise that our life together will always be smooth sailing, but I can and do promise to always do my best for you, and that is all we can strive for, is to do our best. I promise to do my best to always love you, to protect you, to be honest with you, and to be faithful to you for all our years to come. Dean comes to me now and gives me 1 box at a time that I open, remove the wedding band, and after removing their engagement ring, I place the wedding band first and then the engagement ring back on their finger, giving each a quick yet loving kiss and telling them I love them. After I place the last ring on Sam's finger, Riker tells me to stay with my ladies, as they too have something to say to me. I stay standing and facing them, seeing the huge smiles on their faces even though they have tears in their eyes, as at the same time they each say that they promise to do their best to love me, to be honest with me, to be faithful to me, and to support me for all our years to come. Sarah then passes what looks like the box with my wedding band to 2, 3, who passes it to 2, 2, who passes it to Dalila, who passes it to Sam, who opens the box, steps forward and reaches out for my hand, placing the wedding band on my finger, and gives me a quick loving kiss. She steps back, and Delilah, 2, 2, and 2, 3, step to me and give me a loving kiss as well. They each then take a turn saying the words again to each other before giving each other a loving kiss. We may have written the words separately, but they were pretty damn close to saying the same thing. I found it very satisfying deep in my heart to know that we were of the same mind in our promises to each other. Riker then announces, "To all present and watching, I give you the newlyweds." We move together in a group hug and bask for a moment in the love we feel, then turn to our guests and witnesses, giving each of them a hug and thanking them for coming and sharing this moment with us. I see the table is full of food and drinks, so we all make our way over to try out the different finger foods and have something to drink. I even see a few Tim's French vanillas on the table, but it looks like Dean saw them before me. I did get one too, though, ha ha ha. There was still a lot left after everyone stopped eating and drinking, and Riker said it would be taken away once we left. I thanked him for everything he had done and to let me know if he ever needed anything. I did ask him what was up with the long-winded name for me. He explained that video of the wedding would be seen by many races in the very near future, and that it would be important that other races knew all of my titles. He added my being a Duke of Elven not only because it was a fact that I was one, and that excluding it may have caused problems in the future with Elven nobles, but even more importantly, the Elven people would see that I married an Elven princess, and my being a Duke of Elven would mean more to them than my being Guardian Prime, or First of the First. Okay, I guess I could understand where he was coming from. I could tell I still had a buttload to learn about this ruling thing, though. With all these other races soon knowing about us, and that Arcadia will soon be lived on again, do we have enough PGs to not only defend any attack, but to win any attack? To decisively win it? I know there used to be hundreds of PGs when they had their civil war. I was going to ask you in a few days if you would consider upping the number of PGs to 25 for now. In my opinion, 25 PGs would be sufficient for anything we currently know about, and would also give us time to build more if needed to. Do it, Riker. Build them until we have 25 complete PGs, and then we'll reassess the situation. It was still early morning here on Arcadia, so I asked if anyone wants a quick tour around the city, and everyone said they did. I contact Flyer and ask him to bring the Wayward Son to Guardian City as quickly as he can, and he replies he will be here in 5 minutes. We showed everyone the entire city, from one side to another, and from the waterfront to the farms and ranches on the other side of the mountains. And yes, I showed off my house and motor yacht with a cruise past them before heading back to the J&J. I had to laugh when we were back on the J&J, readying for our return trip to Earth, saying to everyone that we'd be getting back earlier than any of us probably had to when we were teenagers dating. Commander, are we ready to return to Earth? Yes, we are, sire. And I am to pass our congratulations to you and your wives from all personnel in your PG. All 5 of us thank everyone for their words. Guardian Commander of the 5th PG, are all ships in the 5th ready for departure to Earth? Yes, we are, sire. And I too wish to pass our congratulations from all personnel in the 5th, and that we feel honored to accompany you back to the Earth solar system. Thank you, Guardian Commander, and thank you as well to all personnel in the 5th PG. When we arrive at Earth's system, please wait at the edge of the system while we inform the Confederacy of our arrival and give them a moment or 3 to adjust to seeing a full GDF, Guardian Defense Fleet, PG for the first time. As you wish, sire. Commander, take us to Earth. Best safe speed. Yes, sire. All ships depart now for Earth. Best safe speed. We quickly arrived back in Earth's solar system, and my PG slowly moved further into the system, with the 5th remaining at our entry point. Guardian Commander, I am thinking about giving our Confederacy friends a little peek at the strength we have at our command, in the hopes it will make them think a few times before doing something stupid in the future. How may 5th be of help, sire? Guardian Commander, have all of the 5th's assets ready for standard deployment, and deploy them on my say-so. The 5th is ready for your command, sire. I will say it should be an impressive sight. I let my commander know what I may do as I ask him to open comms to the Confederacy Lunar Base. Confederacy Lunar Base, this is Guardian Prime of Arcadia, informing you of our return, and that I have the 5th PG with me as I said I would. Good evening, Guardian Prime. This is Trank. Welcome back, and from what we recently saw, I believe congratulations are in order to you and your wives. And ADM. James would like a moment to pass his as well. Thank you, Trank. We appreciate your congratulations. So Captain James is now ADM. James, good for him. The Confederacy did something right as far as I'm concerned. I will have to congratulate him as well. Good evening, Guardian Prime. And yes, it is now Rear Admiral Lower Half James, thanks to you. The powers that be decided a mere captain could no longer be in charge of Lunar Base in dealing with the ruler of a new world. And all 5 of you have my sincere best wishes for a happy future together. I must say you all look good together, and I like the uniform, Guardian Prime. We thank you, Admiral, and give you our congratulations on the promotion. Admiral, I have with me the 5th PG of the GDF. They have never been in this system, and with your okay, I would like them to deploy their assets and do a reconnoiter, so they can familiarize themselves with Earth's solar system. By all means, Guardian Prime, go ahead. Thank you, Admiral. Guardian Commander of the 5th, deploy all assets immediately in standard formation and await further orders. As you wish, sire. Attention all 5th, immediate full deployment. Standard formation. Man, it looked like someone kicked a hornet's nest. Ships came pouring out of each ship's launch bays and took up positions around their base ship. It was impressive. Holy shit, Dee, you have all that in this one PG, and you have 5 PGs? Trank, remind me to tell the head honchos, do not piss off Arcadia in the future. With a small grin, I say, I never said we had 5 PGs, Admiral. I said that this was the 5th PG of the GDF. The Admiral's eyes go wide, and he gets a little green around the gills when he realizes I'm saying there are more than 5 PGs. Guardian Commander, have the 5th do a familiarization recce of this system and the 2 adjacent systems, run full system scans, and I'd like a sit rep for each system upon your return. Yes, sire. Attention 5th. The 5th will now move out in full system coverage pattern and recce all 3 systems. Most of the ships start landing back on their base ship even while they start moving out, leaving the AC, BCs, FACs, and scouts to head out as a group. Trank, Admiral, it was great talking to you again. However, we have some people to get back to their homes, and the 5 of us have some celebrating to do. I bid you good night, gentlemen. They both say their good nights, and we thank our friends again for coming, but tell them they need to go home now and get caught up on anything they missed. Ha 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 ha. We bid them good night and head first for my security team, transport them home, saying we'd see them tomorrow. Well, ladies, how should we start the celebration? Last one to the bed is in the middle, I said as I started running. Ha! I thought I was getting faster as they barely beat me there even though they all transported this time. They said they had to transport Delilah as well as they didn't feel she should have to chance suffering as she had the last time. Ha ha ha. What took them so long was deciding if they wanted me in the middle or on the outside. Good morning, Chef. Good morning, Cookie. I hope you both are feeling as good as I am this morning. I hear 2 good mornings, sires. Then Chef asks if I need a DD coffee this morning. Yes, I most certainly do, Chef. Thanks for asking. I want to thank you both for all the finger foods and drinks you supplied for us yesterday. They tasted great, and we appreciate you taking the time to do that for us. Ah, that's a great coffee. Thanks for the coffee, guys. This morning, I think I'll have scrambled cheesy eggs. Use 3 eggs and a mix of different cheeses, please. 2 hash brown patties and 3 all-beef sausages. We are glad you like the food, sire. We scoured your internet for ideas on what to prepare and are pleased you liked our choices, Chef replied. Your breakfast will be done in 2 minutes, 55 seconds, sire, was heard from Cookie. One stopped by to say that my training would start again tomorrow morning, and she was interested to see if I had lost any edge after the days off. I told her I would be there. Sam came in and kisses me good morning, saying that the skies were quiet, but the planet was not. Many were awed seeing the photos and videos of the 5th PG in space that the Web First had put on our website, though my favorite news agency wondered whether we were going to invade them. Man, oh man, I have no idea how they keep their license. Delilah, 2, 2, and 2, 3, then showed up with 2, 2, and 2, 3, coming for a kiss before disappearing, and Delilah taking their place. I asked if anyone knew of any projects that needed help getting completed, and they did not. Delilah said the scheduling for her recycling project would be finished today, and that the first running the recyclers would then take over. Sam said she had first watching over the OFR, the ore refineries, and the communications surveillance satellite, and all 3 would contact her if they needed to. Sam also said she'd be contacting Marcia, Sarah, Gran, and L at a decent hour this morning, and seeing how things were on their ends. Did I ever mention I tend to wake up early? Ha 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 ha. Riker called asking how many of the hogs I wanted to keep for the new Arcadian butchers, and should he have the rest butchered right away? Shit, I had completely forgotten about the hogs being on BC-1. They were transferred to stasis holds on the space station, and I had no clue. I started laughing and apologized, telling Riker I wasn't laughing at anything he said, that I was laughing because I forgot all about the porkers. I told him to do 1,000 of them for now, and we would see how things went after we arrived. Being in stasis, they weren't going anywhere and wouldn't go bad. L and L were up early and called Sam. They were double-checking that we were able to take live animals again now that we were back. Sam said that we were and asked why. They informed her that a rancher in Florida had called saying he heard we would buy livestock and were we interested in buying his. He had sold his ranch to a land developer, but not the livestock. L and L found out that the livestock consists of Black Angus cattle, Holstein dairy cows, Merino and Katahdin sheep, Morgan horses, and quarter horses. Sam told them to take them all and have their first liaison transport them to BC, one whenever they were ready to. L and L apologized to Sam, saying they forgot they had a first liaison. Sam told them not to worry, as forgetting seemed to be going around, and then had to explain that I forgot about the hogs being on BC1 when we were at Arcadia. Sam contacted Sarah, Gran, and Marcia, and both Sarah and Gran said that they and the people in their groups were ready to go. Marcia said the last of the items from the trade agreement were being picked up this morning, so she would know soon if it was completed. Sam told Marcia to let her know as soon as she found out, because if it was finalized, everyone would meet as soon as possible afterwards and decide on a departure day. That made Marcia a little giddy. I was pacing around wondering and worrying if I was missing something or someone, and Sam noticed and quipped, "Dee, with all that energy, maybe you need to go get laid." I gave her my best evil grin, grabbed her, and threw over my shoulder saying, maybe I do, as I playfully spanked her ass while she squealed. She didn't pull a disappearing act as I carried her to our suite, so I figured she was up for a good romp too. And yes, she was. Marcia called Sam while we were in the shower having one more go, telling Sam the trade agreement was a done deal. Sam says that is great, and everyone could meet in 30 minutes, just as I came in her, causing her to giggle and say, "Make that 20 minutes." After drying off, Sam contacts one of my security teams and asks them to go and transport Dean, Marcia, Karen, Sarah, and Gran to the observation lounge as soon as they were ready. They were to tell them it was about departure day, if asked. Of course, Sam and I were the last to arrive for the meeting, and seeing Sam's wet hair, Sarah had to ask if we had been naughty. Sam replied that we indeed had been naughty, even during Marcia's phone call. The ladies all started giggling when Marcia stated, "Ew, too much information." Okay, everyone. From what I know, everyone has finished their projects or tasks, and they and those that they are responsible for are ready to go to Arcadia. Is this true for everyone, or does someone still have things they need to get done? Everyone looked at everyone else, but no one said they still had things to do. Okay then, we are ready to go to Arcadia. Is everyone still good with the plan we came up with for getting our people up to the Star Cruiser? No one said anything to the contrary. Then I propose we have Sam tell the first to contact their assigned people immediately and tell them to be ready to go at any time within the next 5 days. It is now 11:40 a.m. Wednesday. I say we plan to start transporting people to the Star Cruiser this coming Friday at 7 a.m. If it takes the 4 hours max that we think it might, we will have everyone on board around 11 a.m. Friday and can depart anytime afterwards. That would be around midnight Thursday on Arcadia. A 10-hour trip on the Star Cruiser would have it arriving at Arcadia around 10 a.m. Friday Arcadia time. It is my hope that arriving Friday morning will give the people enough time over the weekend to recover from any jet lag, get acclimated to Guardian City, and commence their new lives. However, they can open their business or start work when they want to, or when their boss tells them to, though those working for me know they need to start no later than 1 week after their arrival. Androids will do the work until then, and if they don't show, they know they can look for work elsewhere. When I say working for me, I'm referring to Guardian businesses like Guardian food supermarkets, ranches, farms, butcher shops, etc. Now, does anyone have anything to add? Nothing. Okay, hang tight a second. Sam, contact the first and give them the news. Also let the commander of the Star Cruiser know when to expect guests. They are on their way, sire, and will let me know when everyone has been contacted. The commander tells me they are ready. Thanks, Sam. I'd like for those of us that are here to greet people in specific areas as they arrive on board the Star Cruiser. I want to do this so people you know will see familiar faces and people you don't know will see some normalcy in an otherwise abnormal morning. For example, Sarah and Gran, I'd like for you two to greet your charges when they arrive, and to greet others that will be arriving in the same section. Dean and Karen, I'd like for you two to greet our Arcadia R&D employees and others that arrive in that section. 2, 2 and 2, 3. I'd like for you two to transport around to different areas and greet people as they arrive. Marcia, I'd like for you to be in your role as mayor of Guardian City, to partner with Delilah and do the same, while Sam will be with me in case I need to be somewhere immediately. There will be 2 first from my security teams with each set of us, and other security will be dispersed throughout the Star Cruiser. Any questions? I could see their heads nodding as I was speaking, so I thought they understood what I was saying. None? Okay, things are rolling. Another thing I was thinking of is live streaming our departure from onboard the Star Cruiser. Show the people arriving, getting into their seats, etc. Any thoughts? If you live stream it, show any problems that occur as well, and odds are there will be problems. Don't censor it. As a matter of fact, since the whole ship is covered by video, if a problem occurs, it should become the primary stream, so there can be no doubt as to what happened. Your favorite news agency is famous for showing parts of a video to make someone look bad or to misrepresent what actually happened. I agree 100% with what Dean just said, Karen added. Yeah, that's just because you want some tonight, Marcia piped in, getting everyone to roar in laughter. With that, our little meeting broke up and everyone went to get their last-minute preparations done. I contact L and L and tell them our departure date, so if they had anything they wanted sent to Arcadia, to have their liaison get it on board BC-1 before then. Then it was Riker I called, letting him know our planned arrival time, and asked him to have everything given one more going over before we got there, and to activate the Guardian security/police. He assured me he would. Guardian Commander, this is Guardian Prime. Guardian Prime, this is Guardian Commander of the 5th. How may I help you, sire? Guardian Commander, we will be leaving for Arcadia in approximately 2 days. Do you have an estimation as to when the familiarization trip will be completed? Yes, sire, the 5th will be back in Earth's system in just under 10 hours from now. I was going to contact you before returning to see if there was anything else you had for us, and where you wanted us upon arriving in system. That is great news, Guardian Commander. When you arrive, have 2 BCs cloak and stay near the OFR and refineries. They can take over for my 2 that are there right now. They are to remain cloaked and will be staying here when we leave. They will be rotated out every month. Position the rest of the 5th near our departure point. Very well, sire. I have passed that on to all ship commanders. And Guardian Commander, before I forget, the rules of engagement, ROE, for every Arcadian ship will be that when fired upon, they will return deadly fire, meaning they will return fire with as much force as necessary to destroy whatever or whoever fired upon them. They will also consider any attack on Earth an attack against themselves. Part 2 of the ROE is for when swarm are encountered. Anytime swarm are encountered, they are to be immediately and completely terminated with all force necessary. I am not talking about until they are no longer considered a threat. I mean until every last swarm that is there is dead. They do not surrender, Guardian Commander, and they do not accept surrender from others. This ROE will be passed on to every Guardian officer, and it will be the duty of the highest-ranking officer to ensure his replacement knows the ROE. Do you have any problems with any of this, or anything to add, Guardian Commander? And before you answer, let me tell you that I always want your honest opinion when I ask for it. I understand, sire, and Riker has told every first that as well. I have no problems with anything you said, sire. Okay, excellent. Then we will see you when you get back. I now had to call Riker back and tell him about the ROEs for all Guardian ships, and if he would inform all Guardian personnel. And last but not least, I contacted my commanders and brought them up to speed on everything, including the ROE. Fuck, I can't believe I never thought of an ROE until now. I had missed lunch and was starving as it was now almost the time I usually ate dinner. I went to see Chef and Cookie and asked if they had pork machado, a Filipino pork stew, and they told me they did. I asked for the pork machado, but to use pork tenderloin instead of the shoulder or butt, and a 500 milliliters Lipton lemon iced tea to go with it. The girls came in and sat down after each gave me a quick kiss. While Delilah went to get something to eat, Sam mentioned seeing me in what looked like a deep conversation. I explained to her and the others what I had been up to since everyone left this morning, and how I had forgotten about something called rules of engagement, and how they were very important for military people. The military people in our case being guardians. I explained what the ROE was and that it might be fine not having them if I was there to say when to fire or when not to, but the guardians needed to know when they were supposed to fire and when not to when I wasn't there. At least I finally got one in place, though. I stewed for a bit until I thought, enough of this. I fucked up, but rectified my fuck up. Get over it. The girls decided they wanted to go walking when Delilah had finished eating, and I agreed it sounded nice, so I told Sam to transport us whenever they were ready. She said they'd be a minute and disappeared. I gave her a questioning look when they returned, and I saw a small duffel-type bag in her hands. She said they were ready, and the next thing I know, it is a bright, sunny, hot day out, and we are beachside beside a changing room locker area. I quickly spin around looking to see where we are until I see a sign on the change room saying, "Welcome to Bondi Beach." Damn, we are in Australia. My mouth is open in astonishment as Sam reaches into the duffel bag and gives me a beach blanket, telling me my swimsuit is wrapped in sized, and for me to go get changed and meet them back here. The four of them then quickly enter their side of that changing room, and I turn the other way to see a sign saying men's, so I head that way. I am still a little stunned, but what can a guy do when transported thousands of kilometers from home with four stunning ladies? Enjoy it as much as he can is what the guy can do. So I smiled and went to get changed. After we found a spot on the sand, Sam explained that it had looked like I needed to relax, so they quickly decided to distract me with lots of hot girls and very little clothing. And the best place they came up with at the time was here. I thanked them and told them I loved seeing them in little or no clothing. A few people stopped by to say, "Oi, g'day mate," and the like, or to check out the girls or congratulate us, and many more just smiled, waved, and carried on. We only spent a couple hours there, then Sam popped us back to the J&J, and we showered the sand and salt off before cuddling up together in bed. I felt better this morning, and what is the first thing to pop into my head this morning? Oh my lord, in 24 plus hours from now, people will be boarding the Star Cruiser. A quick coffee, then off to training with one. I was doing okay even when Sam and the girls came in wearing their oh-so-tiny gym wear. I should say I was doing okay until they decided to leave, and my head almost snapped off my neck when I heard Sam say that they should go shopping for some adult toys. A couple of seconds later, tennis balls were bouncing off me as they left laughing. After a wonderful breakfast, we started giving our projects list one last going over until deciding that Sam would just send a message asking them to inform her by the end of the day if any problems were encountered or if we were still a go for tomorrow morning. Sam received responses from each person that they were still good to go, an L&L message for me not to forget all the livestock this time. Ha ha ha. Sam checked with the first to see if their assigned people were ready, and other than a few thousand doing last-minute shopping, all were ready to go on a moment's notice. Well, the day is finally here. Departure day. The day Sam and I started working towards what seems like just a short time ago. Man, I wish Mom and Dad were here to enjoy this too. Sadly, all this only came to be because they were killed, and I wanted to take care of the living first, as I knew they would have expected me to. I hoped they liked how I did so. I did a shortened training session and had a delicious breakfast with Delilah, while Sam got early morning reports from everyone. She told me everything was on schedule and the people were extremely excited when they were woken and told they would be transporting to the Star Cruiser this morning. She did say there was a problem waking one of the people that had been selected to come. I told her that if the person snoozed, they'd lose. All of us that were going to meet and greet the arrivals, transported to the Star Cruiser 30 minutes before the first people were to arrive. The commander assured me that everything was ready to go as soon as I gave the word, so we went to our areas a few minutes before the first people arrived. Naturally, they gawked around in wonder, but quickly followed directions from the hostesses and got into their seats. We did greet quite a few of the people that arrived, but of course nowhere near all of them. Things were running pretty smoothly, and Sam said the web first reported the site was maxed out with people watching our exodus. Our first hiccup came when it was time to transport the person that the first reported they couldn't wake up earlier. The first contacted Sam, who turned it over to me. Apparently the sponsor, a single male with 4 concubines, had started partying hard after being told to be ready to depart within 5 days. He was at this moment still hammered and almost incoherent, and just kept telling the first to wake him in a few hours. The first would have just left him, however, the 4 concubines were devastated when they were told they couldn't go without him, and it looked like he'd missed the departure. One of the concubines was more distraught than the other 3, crying and wailing that she had left and couldn't go back, as she'd be beaten badly for running off. She had begged the first to talk to me, and the first figured if she didn't at least let me know, I didn't have the opportunity to say yes. First, please, get the sponsor's Arcadia card, and can you tell Sam all 4 of the girls' names, please? The first says she has the sponsor's card, and I asked Sam, what does the database tell us about the girls, Sam? Any reason we shouldn't take them? All 4 scores are average, and they are very complacent with very little drive or initiative. While they were not asked to go, why not give them a chance and take them if they are ready to go now? Girls, according to your Arcadia cards, all 4 of you are living very complacent lives and have little to no drive or initiative to improve them. Tell me why I should take you without your sponsor. The first tells me the most distraught girl is responding. Sir, where I lived there was no hope of ever getting out of the neighborhood for good. There was no chance of changing my life, and after a while I just gave up. I met Kevin, my sponsor, and his other girls a few days ago when I was out of the barrio for a few hours. He offered me a chance to leave the horrible life that I knew if I went to Arcadia as his concubine, and I immediately agreed. I have since read everything on Arcadia's website and have dreamed of making a better life for myself, even if it was only a life as his concubine. Please, sir, I beg of you, give me a chance to make and live a better life. Do all of you understand that if you come to Arcadia, you will come as concubines without a sponsor and will have to support yourselves? You will have no sponsor to support you or take care of you? I hear one voice that sounds like distraught girls say they understand. I want to hear each of you answer that you understand. First, if one does not answer, make note of who it was. Now I hear 4 voices say they understand. I want each of you to answer yes or no when I ask for your answer. None of you have a sponsor to support you, and there are no government handouts, so each of you will have 1 month to get a job so you can support yourself. I know there are jobs available at Guardian Foods as well as at many other places in Guardian City. You will abide by all Arcadia laws. You would still be considered concubines, and as such you will be monitored. However, if you wish to, you can retake the enhanced test anytime during the first 11 months, and possibly be eligible for citizenship or be returned to Earth if you prefer. Now, one at a time, tell me your answer. Distraught girl immediately starts yelling, yes, 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 and the other 3 follow suit. With a sigh, I say, don't make me regret this, girls. First, transport the 4 of them up to their seats and to their sponsor's residence when we arrive at Arcadia. Girls, you can live in the sponsor's residence for 1 month while you look for a place that you can afford on your own or together. If you decide to stay together and can afford the residence you are in, you can stay there. The choice will be up to each of you. I really hope I don't regret doing this. The transportations had been continuing, and by the time everyone was on board, there were only 2 other problems, and both were handled by the first doing the transporting. One problem was the husband of the wife we had invited to Arcadia refusing to get into his seat, saying he didn't want to get the citizenship and he wanted his family transported back to Earth. The first transported him back to Earth and then gave the option to stay on board and go to Arcadia or return to Earth to the wife. The wife immediately said that she and her 2 kids would stay and go to Arcadia. The other involved a 15-year-old girl who didn't want to leave her boyfriend. The first explained to her parents that she was considered an adult on Earth and could not be forced to go to Arcadia. The teen was asked one more time if she wanted to go with her parents to Arcadia, and when she said she didn't, she was transported back to Earth. The first then asked the family if they still wanted to go to Arcadia or to return to Earth. They decided on going to Arcadia. The last of the people were on board and soon asleep in their seats, getting their citizen ID chips inserted in their medical scans. When we transported back to the J&J after all was said and done, we saw that 253,886 people had been transported from Earth to the Star Cruiser, and settled in their seats in 3 hours and 14 minutes. I checked one last time that everyone was ready to go, then told the commander of the Star Cruiser to depart and that we would see him at Arcadia in 10 hours or so. I walk over to Marcia and give her 2 envelopes, asking her to keep them for me until the first anniversary of our arrival on Arcadia. She looks questioningly at me, but I just smile and say, "Don't ask, it's a surprise." Back in my place, I look at the camera doing the live stream to our website, and with a smile on my face say, "Good morning, everyone. Well, it's that time. It's time to take our first settlers to Arcadia and start a new branch of the human race. This does not mean there will be no future opportunities for more people to migrate to Arcadia, though as we will take more in the future. I would like to remind everyone that the enhanced cap test will still be available after our departure and that the Arcadian orphanage will remain open to those between the ages of 14, 18 as well. Please keep an eye on our website for any announcements or news. I gather the 4 loves of my life next to me and speak the words that will start a new chapter in our lives. Until we meet again, may God watch over you and bless you. Commander, take us to Arcadia. Best possible speed." I say your name here, renounce totally and completely any and all previous allegiances I was subject to, and pledge my allegiance now and forevermore to Arcadia and what it stands for. One people united and equal before God, living together in peace and prosperity. I will follow Arcadia laws and be true, faithful, and fulfill my responsibilities as a citizen of Arcadia in protecting our nation, our people, and our way of life. With God and all here as my witnesses, I so swear. Good morning and congratulations, citizens of Arcadia, and a happy Settlers Day to everyone here at GC Stadium, Guardian City Stadium, and to all those watching at home. Yes, with 88% of the total vote tabulated on ArcNet, Arcadia Internet, Settlers Day was the name you all chose for commemorating our arrival here 1 year ago today on the 12th of August. Settlers Day will now and forevermore be the name of our national holiday. I know it is hard to believe that 1 year has passed already. All the people in the stadium start cheering and clapping loudly. As a new people, we overcame much here in the first year, starting with getting used to 26-hour days. I thank you all for your patience while we got enough 26-hour watches and clocks made for everyone. It's always the seemingly little things that get forgotten, and keeping track of time was one of them. So many good things have happened in the last year, from the first baby being conceived and born on Arcadia, to having a news media that reports factual news, not slanted, biased, or misleading news, to the new sports you came up with. I mean, whoever heard of team trackball? I had never heard of normal trackball before, but someone saw the equipment on the archived Earth Internet, sent a request to have some of the equipment made, and now it's played in every neighborhood along with the more well-known sports such as football, soccer, golf, and hockey. And I personally want to thank everyone for making my 126,738 Mer refugees from Elven welcome here, while another almost 500,000 Mer are seeing if it is possible to rejuvenate the waters on their home planet. I know most of you have never seen one of the Mer since they prefer living in water. But if you do, please continue to make them feel welcome. I know after trying the seafood we brought here from Elven, my taste buds are hoping they can cultivate the seafood they are famous for here in Arcadian waters too. I know everyone will welcome and help the new arrivals from Earth get acclimated to Arcadia and Guardian City when they arrive in a couple of weeks as well. Remember, these new arrivals don't have the option of returning to Earth after 11 months. Like we did, so lend a hand when you can. I will also tell you now that among the new settlers that will be arriving, there are several groups of people that are very familiar with the design and creation of winter resorts. I have already asked these groups if they would be interested in creating Nordica, the ultimate in year-round winter resorts here on Arcadia. They are very excited about doing so, and for anyone that is interested in being a part of it, information will be posted soon on ArcNet. While things have been very good for the most part, there have been a few ups and downs too, though not many. We arrived here with 253,886 people, and at the 11-month mark, there were 1,206 that were returned to Earth. Some because they asked to be returned for whatever reason, and some because they didn't want to live by our laws. There was some, what used to be called petty crime, for a short time after everyone arrived. But that quickly stopped when people found out the stated punishments would be enforced and weren't just words they read. I guess I shouldn't say it stopped, as there still is an occurrence every once in a while. Unfortunately, there was also the execution of 3 people who thought it was okay to steal and destroy the property of others. I don't know why they would think they wouldn't be punished according to our laws. I do regret allowing them to come at the last minute, but as they say, hindsight is 20/20. There is more good news, though. For a few of us, anyway. On the day we left Earth, I gave our good mare, Marcia Masters, 2 envelopes to hold for me. I asked her yesterday if she could bring them to the ceremony today, and if she would kindly bring them to me now, I will conclude my little speech as quickly as I can and let you all get on with the festivities. The crowd gives Marcia a raucous welcome, whistling and clapping. Please, let's hear it for Mayor Marcia. She has kept Guardian City running like a Swiss watch, allowing me to gallivant around the cosmos to places like Elven and Mare, I say as she brings the envelopes to me. I give her a hug and thank her for everything she has been doing. Stay with me here, please, Marcia. Now, I gave these 2 sealed envelopes to Mayor Marcia 1 year ago before we arrived here, and I see they are still sealed. I had decided a little more than a year ago that I wanted to make 2 presentations on our first anniversary here in Arcadia, and no one knew about them. Not even my wives. Yes, I know that was a dangerous thing to do. Ha 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 ha. I'm going to ask Marcia to open this first envelope and read what I wrote on the paper inside it a little more than 1 year ago. Marcia opens the envelope, pulls out the single piece of paper it contains, and reads, On this, the first anniversary of our arrival on Arcadia, I, as Guardian Prime of Arcadia and First of the First, want to do something special for the first person to take the oath of citizenship. Whoever it is that is the first to take the oath shall have their housing, 1 electric vehicle, and 1 higher education course paid for in full. If the person is single, their housing can be up to a 2-bedroom house or apartment, and if the person is married or part of a family, their housing can be up to a 4-bedroom house or apartment. She looks to the backside of the paper and says, That is all that is written on the paper, and passes me the paper and envelope. I think it took a second or 2 before what Marcia said sunk into people's heads, as there was hardly any noise for about 5 seconds before the clapping and whistling started. I wait for the noise to subside a bit, then start speaking again. The first person who took the oath of citizenship submitted the request 3 months to the day after our arrival here, the first day that anyone could make the request. She retook the enhanced cap test 2 weeks after arriving and had her status as a concubine removed. Her request to take the oath was approved, and she came to Guardian Hall and took it in person. I know she is in the crowd here today because the first that transported her to the Star Cruiser 1 year ago is ready to transport her to the stage. So I would like to say it gives me great pleasure to ask Adriana Maria da Silva to come to the stage and receive Arcadia's gifts to her. This time the crowd got noisy right away as Adriana appeared on the stage next to me, tears pouring down her face. This brought my wives over to comfort her, and after a moment, Adriana ran to me and hugged me tightly, thanking me over and over for giving her a chance that day 1 year ago. Adriana, I have never regretted giving you the chance you asked for that morning 1 year ago. You took that chance and made the most of it, and I applaud you for that. The crowd cheers and claps loudly for the once distraught girl who has succeeded in changing her life. My wives come and take her with them for a moment, then the first takes her back to her seat. Okay, Marcia, now will you do the same for the second envelope, please? Marcia opens the second envelope, pulls out the single piece of paper, and reads, On this, the first anniversary of our arrival on Arcadia, I, as Guardian Prime of Arcadia and First of the First, want to do something special for the parents of, and for the first baby to be conceived and born on Arcadia. Whoever are the parents of the first baby to be conceived and born on Arcadia shall have their housing, up to a 4-bedroom house or apartment, 2 electric vehicles, and 2 higher education courses paid for in full. The baby shall have their education paid for life, as well as $5,000 AC, Arcadian credits, put into a registered retirement account in their name. She again says that is all that is written on the paper, after looking at its backside. Of course, everyone knows who had the first baby, as it was all over Arc News, Arcadia News, as it deserved to be. I know they are here too, with their darling baby Janine and their entire family. And it gives me great pleasure to ask Jim, Heather, baby Janine, Karen, Debbie, Lisa, and John to come to the stage and receive Arcadia's gifts for them and their little girl. The whole family pops onto the stage, and we do the hugs and congratulations. Then I turn back to the crowd and say, now, when I wrote those words on that piece of paper, I didn't think about a family with multiple adults in it, even though I had 4 wives at the time. I see here before me a family with 6 adults in it, so what I am going to do is add 4 more fully paid higher education courses, another 2 electric cars, and another 2 bedrooms to the house they choose, or another 50 M2 to the size of the house if they have 1 custom built. That made for more hugs and handshakes. Then they left the stage amid the cheers from the crowd and were taken back to their seats. Since little Janine was born, there have been many more births and even more pregnancies. So keep it up, people. I am doing my best to help increase our population too, and am looking forward to succeeding. Ha ha ha. My wives come up beside me and Dalila whispers in my ear, causing me to turn sideways and look at her, mouth open with a stunned and slack-jawed expression. I succeed.